In our last video, we talked about what happens when your file is opened and we start working on your case. This video is going to deal with the investigation and the discovery phase, which usually is the longest portion of any proceeding. As I told you last time, the first thing we do is try to get the information from the DA's office that they have, whether it be a district attorney's office, a county attorney, whoever's prosecuting your case. We're going to ask for offense reports and we're going to ask for videos and photos, and they're obligated by law to provide those things to us. They have that obligation, and all we have to do is ask. There's a big caveat to that, though, and that is that in return for providing all that to us and basically turning over their file to us, the law which says they have to do that has some limits. And one of those limits is that we can't provide you with copies of what they provide us. Now, we can provide you with things like a video of when you were arrested. We can provide you with a copy of your statement. But as far as the offense reports, we can't turn that over to you because it's just against the law. And to tell you the truth, you really don't need it. We're going to prepare a summary of the reports and the evidence in those, so you're going to know what the offense reports say, and you're going to know what people are saying about you. Once we have that, we'll schedule an appointment and a time so that we can go over everything with you. That's your opportunity and that's your time to address anything that may not be accurate, determine if there's anything else we need to investigate, and determine if there's anything missing. Offense reports are really a summary of what happened. They rarely contain everything that happened. They contain what the officer believes are important, and most times that's things that are important to finding you guilty. There may be other things that are important for you in establishing either your innocence or establishing a reason for why you did something, and that's the kind of information we need to get. And you may know that and we may not, so we go over it with you so that you can point out to us what we need to follow up on and where we need to go to find the missing pieces. Once we know what they have, then we can start planning a defense. We can talk about what the law requires them to prove, compare that to the evidence, and determine what we can do to prepare a defense for you and meet those charges. We're also going to decide at this point whether our own investigation is necessary. That may involve obtaining records. Sometimes we can do that by letter. Sometimes we have to issue subpoenas. And sometimes we have to have somebody go out and actually obtain them. We will decide whether there are witnesses we need to interview, and we're going to make the decision on whether or not to hire an investigator to do this. That decision will be made with your support and with your input, but there's usually a lot an investigator can do in any case that we just either can't do or don't have time to do, and it's useful to utilize them when it's necessary. As I said, offense reports are summaries of what happened. They're rarely complete, and there are other things that are going to be important to you. And so that's what we're going to try to decide, what hasn't been provided, and make requests for that. And I can also tell you from experience, rarely does everything that the police have get over to the district attorney's office. They have an obligation to provide us with what they have, and that's usually sending us copies of the reports they have in their file. But if something isn't sent to them, they don't have it and they're not going to give it to us. Generally, except in rare situations, they're not going to go through the reports and look at all the evidence that was gathered and see if they have everything. We're the only ones that are going to do that. So we go through reports, we determine what videos, what pictures were taken, maybe if there was an audio recording, anything that we think is important to the case, and seeing what the state has, we're going to look at, and if it's not there, then we're going to make a request for that. The investigation phase is really the longest portion of the trial, and it can go, especially if you go to trial, it can go on for a long time. Our job is to make sure that we have everything we need to either go to trial or everything we need to know to understand your case and prepare the best possible defense for you so that you could obtain the best possible result. Next time we're going to talk about pretrial motions, what they are and what happens in court when you have them.